Hi! I haven't pulled this thing out in a year, so I'm still figuring out the best setup for it. I've moved, I've done a lot of different things since my last video, and now we're here. Since I last saw you guys, I have lived such a full life, and I don't think I have lived a life that so fulfilling as I have in the past year or two. And it makes me a little emotional because I grew up in a really hard household with, my childhood wasn't super crazy, but it was not super great either. We had our own, as all families do, have their ups and downs, and it was tough. And I think for the first time in my life in this past couple years, I really learned to not be in survival mode, and it has been a blessing. It was hard, but it's a blessing. And I really thought, what can I do? You know what I mean? Like, what can I do? What do I want to do? What impact do I want to have in this world? What is my purpose? And I think everybody at our age and our generation, and with everything that's going on in the world right now, I think everybody's trying to find that. And I've never been an aimless girl. I don't necessarily think that, my purpose is cemented in one role or one job or one person. I'm just yapping, and I don't really have a script out for this, but it's been hard. It's been hard to find balance. It's been hard to even really know where I was going with a content creation, with what I wanted to do, with what's happening in this world, what my purpose was when I was creating like content. I traveled, I loved, I spent time with friends, I rested, I worked, I lived, and it was the first time in my whole life I lived. And I think it was so eye-opening for me. And for the first time in my life, and I hate to admit this, I'm devastated about not being able to keep living. And I think that is such a different way. I have never really realized that, and these days, I'll joke about it, but deep inside I know I'm terrified of losing what I now have built, and I want to do more for people, and I want to do more for my community. I have always been a girl that was called to serve, to help. I think my life and heart is always in helping others. From volunteering to working in healthcare and working with kids and having a really empathetic soul towards those who are impoverished and vulnerable. And I know I can do more, and I want to do more. I just don't know what more to do sometimes. I feel like everything I do isn't enough, or I feel really, lately I've been really depressed. I've been really depressed about things that are happening in the world. I want more from everybody. I want more from myself. I want more from my community. I want more for others. I want more from others in the way that is, I want all of us to be more helpful to one another, to be bigger in our communities. But at the end of the day, I know that there's only so much we can do, and I need to start focusing on, saving that one life, to helping that one person, to really seeing how impactful it is to even have and help one life and one being. So I wanted to start this YouTube channel again. I know I keep changing my name. As everybody my age probably will tell you, I'm still searching for my, I don't want to say purpose, because I do think I know my purpose is to help and serve, but I want to see my execution, or how I'm going to go about in doing that. And lately I've been really, as I said, I've been feeling really hopeless. And there's this girl I follow and subscribe to. I recently found her. Her name's Deja. And I love her content. I absolutely love her content, the way she breaks down the political things that's happening now, and how we can kind of approach things in a way that's not toxic positivity, but more of like tragic optimism, in a way that, yeah, we can exist, like happiness can exist, and sun can exist, and sunshine can exist in the rain, like type of thinking and perspective. And that's something I really needed. Like that was like something that actually helped me a lot. And like, if she ever sees this, I want to say thank you so much. Your content is so beautiful and I love it so much. I am so excited every time you release a video, because I just know that whatever you're going to say, no matter how heartbreaking it is, it's also going to be fulfilling in the same way. And I think I want to be able to do the same thing for others in maybe a different way. And I've been in the past year really like diving into my cozy hobbies. I am a chronic hobby hoarder. I will never be satisfied just doing one thing or being an expert in one thing. And that's the thing. I'm never an expert at anything, because I constantly change and switch up what I like and what I'm learning. And so I want to kick off this brand new era of how we can really see that rest is resistance. And Deja also talked about this, and a lot of people have talked about this. But in a world and in a society that constantly prioritizes hustling and productivity and monetization of things, and it's hard not to, right? Because of the economy that we're in and how we're so kind of bogged down by like what we can and can't make money of and what we can afford because of it. And I am in a very privileged position to be able to even do this, because I am in a good spot. I've put myself in a good spot, but that's also part hard work, but part luck. Like a lot of people will really do everything they can and still, luck will not be on their side and it'll still fall short. And that's not nothing, like I will never knock how lucky I am, because as much as I put myself, you could put yourself in the position to receive luck and maximize that luck. But if it doesn't come, that's still something that can be hard. And I'm really lucky. But yeah, today we're going to talk about how rest is resistance, as coming from a chronically overworked girl, hustler girl, someone who grew up in an Asian household. So I am Filipino. My parents were a little rough on me in terms of being really strict about what they expected from me, my grades, my accomplishments, and my achievements. I would say I am kind of in that sphere where I work in healthcare. I am a clinical researcher, and yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I didn't stray too far from the tree, I will just say. Okay, so I really, really grew up in a very hard environment where I also thought that the only way out was to keep hustling. And my parents got divorced when I was 14. And I threw myself into my studies like nothing. We were living out of the kindness of my aunt and uncle's house. It was like a 2-bedroom house. We had nothing. In a foreign country, we were in New Zealand. And yeah, I watched my mom struggle. She was a single mom. My dad was RIP to that man, but like he was not present during these times. And yeah, I grew up really hustling. Like no matter how much, our relationship is, I will never, ever, ever, fault her for doing what she needed to do to survive, especially as a single mom in a foreign country with 2 minors. And so yeah, we moved around a lot. My mom ventured into many businesses to keep food on the table. She made a lot of sacrifices to be where we are today. And again, that's luck for me, because I could have had a mom that was, didn't care as much or didn't work as hard, and I would probably be in a different place right now. In saying that, I also acknowledge that I really cemented, or it was really ingrained in me that in order to get out of this house, in order to get out of this situation, was to keep working hard. And I haven't stopped working since I was 15. Like, I got a part-time job as soon as I could get a part-time job. I straight A kid, everything. I worked really hard. And, you know, like with everything that happens in life, it never really plans out the way you want it to. And so constantly I was hitting roadblock after roadblock. I felt like I was always taking like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And it was just this never ending rat race, right? Like, it's never, I'm sure everybody feels that way, but like it was for me especially, like I felt like it was just, this is just, I need to do this, I need to do this, and then it's on to the next thing, and to the next thing. And then I crashed and burned. I crashed and burned in 2021 especially, where I just snapped. Like, I honestly just I never rested. Even in anything I did, I constantly monetized it in a way that was like, whether it was monetary or whether it was like I needed to make it good enough to make money off, or needed to make it good enough where it was perfect. And neither was good for me, because it was constantly this pursuit of perfection that I could never achieve, because I, one, was so busy. Like, my entire life was so busy, right? Like, every hour was accounted for work, for school, for volunteering, for all of these things. And then I was doing things out of almost necessity rather than because I wanted to do them. And it was just, I was just a machine. And, but you know, you're not supposed to be like that. And humans aren't made to be machines or to be producers necessarily. And so I crashed and burned. By crash and burn, I mean like my body shut down like in a way that was ridiculous. Like, I couldn't eat anything for like 6 months. Like, I couldn't eat solid food for 6 months. I snapped mentally. I actually ended up being hospitalized for it. It was a lot. It was a lot for me. It took a lot of work from my community and my friends and my brother and my family to kind of like reel me back, you know, like, hey, like, you know, there's too much to live for. Like, this is, you know, like, they really brought me out. But at the end of the day, as much as I wanted to bring myself out and wanted to rely on everyone, you cannot be helped if you don't want to be. And it took me snapping in that way to realize how exhausted I was and how tired I was and how I didn't have any joy in my life that was outside of producing or achieving something. And so it took me a few more years. I got kicked out, graduated from Berkeley, you know, didn't do well in the MCAT because I swear I was going to be a doctor. Had to find my way out, get a job, straight out of college, find a new place. It wasn't until I really kind of cut off some of that noise until I was, you know, was able to really reflect on my life. And in the first year of me living on my own, like 2022 to kind of end of 2020, like mid 2023, was again, another survival mode, right? Like, you know, you'd think like, oh, you're living in LA, like you're with your dog. Like, no, it was hard. It's hard to live on your own, guys. Like, it's really hard. Like, for those of you that know how to do it, or know how it feels, props to you. But I didn't have a backup. I had to survive. I didn't have a home I could go back to. I didn't have anyone I could rely on at that time in a way that like was, you know, in like a financial sense. Like, I had a lot of emotional support, which thank God, because I would not be where I am today without those people. But I was equally like, I was also lost, right? I just wanted to survive. And so I got a job. I got lucky. Got a job in the career that I wanted. I was able to get a place that fit me, that was reasonable, and my dog. And I lived like that, you know, and it was hard. It was hard because it's expensive and it's lonely at the same time, although I did love being alone for a little bit. And I still hadn't learned my lesson. I still hadn't learned my lesson. I still hadn't had the time or even the energy to look within myself and introspectively look at what I was doing in my life and what I was aiming for and what I wanted in my life, like the people I wanted and who I wanted to prioritize. And and this was again another really hard year, and I was still again in survival mode. If you've gotten this far, thank you for letting me yap to you guys. So in 2023, I met the love of my life. And he's really changed. And I don't want to be cliche because you don't need you don't need the love of your life to change your life. Like, you really don't. But he was a good catalyst because I wasn't really motivated to change my life. I didn't care. I was just trying to, at the end of the day, like, honestly, I was just trying to get home and, like, literally, like, have food for my dog. Like, I wasn't even eating that much. Like, I would eat a meal a day and be like, cool. But I really wanted to give Zazu a good life because I was like, if I'm not going to live for myself, I need to live for something. And I lived for Zazu for a while because I was like, he needs me. He relies on me. He did not choose to be in this situation. So I need to give that to him. I need to give him the best I can absolutely give him. So I did that. And at the same time, I can keep saying I didn't care. But at the same time, I was reaching for things that indicated I would have a future, right? Like, I was very specific about my job search. I wasn't like desperate in a way that like, oh, I was just applying to anything and everything. I said, I want to get a clinical researcher job. I have the degree for it. I have the experience. I just need someone to take a chance on me. And I got really lucky and someone did take a chance on me. I got paid like crap. If my old boss sees this, thank you for everything you did. But I got paid maybe 20K that year. Like, max, no taxes. I had to like pay back my taxes. And I had to pay for parking, and the rent was bad, and I didn't have a parking spot, and I got red zone tickets all the time because I'm a girl in LA. Like, I can't just like park any far away, so I'd rather just take the L and get a ticket, park closer to my house and my apartment. So, and so I honestly racked up a lot of debt, like, living like that. And I didn't have a choice. Like, I literally didn't have a choice. I just had to do what I had to do. I didn't plan to be living on my own. After college, I told you guys, as I mentioned, I got kicked out. So it was very sudden and random for me. And yeah, I just made do. And I was lucky to be able to make do. Anyway, where were we? So yeah, so I met the love of my life. I was like, you know what? I need to live more. I like to be a very practical person. I like to think I'm a very practical person. So when he came into my life and I was like, okay, we're going to be serious. We're going to do this. We're going to have a future. I started thinking like, oh my God, I can't be living with this much debt if we are going to be living like this. My credit score can't be this crap if we're going to, be together. It's going to affect my chances for a car, a house, everything. Especially in this country. So I actually really kicked into high gear. I was like, I need to find a better job. I do have the skill set for it. The one thing about me is my work ethic is undeniable, okay? Like, you cannot, like, I'm a good corporate girly, okay? I'm a good corporate slave because overtime without getting paid, I've been doing it, okay? I don't condone it because it sucks. But when it comes to work ethic, and if I set my mind to it, I'm going to get it done. That's one thing that's like, I am very proud of myself and really grateful that I never let that up, because one thing I will do is get it done. Okay? So, I was like, I need a better job. Got a few interviews. Once I got my offer letter, literally left the next day. And I was like, RIP, I am so sorry. I will not use you as a reference because sorry I did that to you, but you guys sucked. Sorry, I'll just leave this out. But like, yeah, they were not great to me. So, and I didn't think they appreciated me. And so I left. And I was like, I'm gone. Made way more. And I have benefits now. So that's really nice. So I got myself out of that. And one of my first goals last year when I started getting, that job was let me make sure I pay down my debt. So that was another thing. Pay down my debt. Closing a few cards now, or at least paying off the balance soon. So super lucky and going through that. And yeah, once I settled into this new job, I settled into everything else. My life was comfortable and I was freaked out. I was scared. I was scared of how comfortable my life was. I was freaked the F out. I was like, I need to be doing something with all this free time. Like, what do you mean I'm just working a 9 to 5? Like, excuse me? What am I doing with my life? So I started studying for the MCAT again. So I started studying for the MCAT. I was so determined. I was like, I'm gonna go for the doctor that I want to be. I'm gonna do that because that's what I was doing. I'm gonna do that. I, again, was paying off my debt. What else was I doing? Oh, I said I was gonna volunteer. I'm gonna go fight fascism or whatever. Okay. I went to join like grassroots organizations and was really like, you know, really active in that sphere. I was so busy. I was literally, again, so busy again. And like work, mind you, I was like settling into work for like a month or two. And then I was like, you know what? I have too much free time. So let me go and be busy. And so I started doing that. And then suddenly I started feeling that feeling of being so busy again that I felt like I couldn't breathe, like I was drowning. And I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Like I literally was like, and then yeah, it didn't take long for me to crash and burn within like 6 months because I was once again putting myself through so much pressure, so much work, so much everything just to be busy, just to I can't just rely on this pay stub. Like I'm gonna what if I get fired? What if you know the world ends? Like I was so scared. I was so scared for a moment to just relax. I was like, what if I get too comfortable? I get too comfortable, I'm never gonna amount to anything. Like this is all I'm gonna be. And don't get me wrong, I still feel that way sometimes. I'm still guilty of those pressures, but I realized I was also becoming a horrible person. Like, I am not a nice person when I am this stressed out and burnt out. Like, I am not a nice person. And I did not realize that until I was taking it out on my sweet, sweet, sweet boyfriend, who, mind you, did not do anything to deserve what I was doing to myself. And it was all internal. It was all crazy. And then my dad came back in my life, guys. My dad came back. You know, my dad, who was gone for like 10 plus years, came back into my life. He was like, just randomly emailed me one day, one of my old accounts, and was just like, I want to see you and brother. He was like, I want to see you and your brother. And I was like, oh, word? Asked my brother. He was like, yeah, I'm down. And so I was like, I'll go there to support you. Okay, so that happened. And seeing as I was a problem solver, I need to get into therapy. This is going to make me, I'm gonna go to therapy. And so I finally got a therapist after much searching, and I finally found one that I love. I love her. Okay, she's still my therapist today. And it was a lot of like reflection and realizing that like if I kept burning myself out like this, I was never going to be where I wanted to be, which was happy and peaceful. And so it took a lot of unlearning and being okay at my pace to realize that I need to take care of myself in order for me to help others. Because it came to a point where I was so burnt out and I was crashing out. And I was useless. I was useless to anyone and anything, from myself to the people I said I was going to serve and help. I was so useless. I couldn't focus on anything. I had no energy to do anything at all. I was short. I was frustrated. I was angry. And I realized I needed hobbies. And here we are. At the main point of this yap session is how important rest is, and how you all should get a hobby. And I mean a hobby, not a hobby you monetize, which becomes a side hustle or a side job or a little work for. No, a hobby where you can be imperfect, you can suck, you can learn, you can be patient with yourself, you can teach yourself, you can take your time. No one's rushing you, no one's forcing you to do this. Like, you need a hobby. And again, I come from a very privileged place because I can afford a hobby. Okay, not all hobbies are created equal. And that I have the space to do a hobby, that I have the knowledge, the ability, I am very blessed, and it would be a disservice to everybody and anyone, and even especially myself, if I didn't make use of the abilities and resources I had to at least be happy. And so I did. Okay, so let me tell you what I picked up in the past year. This was my first. I picked up crocheting. Isn't she so cute? This is Nezuko from Demon Slayer. She was one of the first main plushies I made. You can see, like, she's already, like, this is coming undone. I didn't weave it in. Like, she's not perfect, but she's one of my first ones, so I love her. I'm definitely going to redo her again. I've learned a lot. I've picked up a lot. I'm still constantly learning new techniques and more practice. So, isn't she cute? I also made this Gojo. Let me get him. I also made this Gojo. Aren't they adorable? This is when he's wearing his glasses. Aren't they adorable? I worked so hard on him. He's a little better, but he's also less complicated. But she has a lot of moving parts, so I love them both. I also picked up scrapbooking, which... So, this is my scrapbook for 2024. I didn't really pick it up in 2023, but I was like, I have all these stickers and stationery, and I used to scrapbook, so I need journal. I'm going to start journaling soon again, but this is my scrapbook. I'll show you guys. This is like... Let me see. Let me see if I can show you guys.
2 hours later.
See, 25 wishes for last year. They turned 25 last year. Isn't it adorable? I literally love it. Look at it. This is my birthday. I also picked up beading. Do I have something to show you guys? Let me see. I thought I had beads, but I also picked up beading. Where you make bracelets, and then what else did I learn? I tried to pick up drawing, and then I got super busy with work, so I stopped drawing, which sucks. But so I might have to pick that up again. I've always been a creative girly. I used to want to be a graphic designer. Spoiler alert, but you know, Asian parents, so I didn't really think that that was a stable way to get out of the situation I was in. So I also love healthcare. I love STEM. So I love STEM, but I'm also a very creative person, I think. Or I like to think I am. Those are like my hobbies I picked up. And then lately I've been obsessed with Infinity Nikki. So I've been really obsessed with gaming as well. And again, I am so privileged. My boyfriend built my PC for me. I'm literally so lucky. And he actually asked one of my best friends to build my keyboard, picked out my mouse pad. It was amazing. So I have this cool new PC, and I play Infinity Nikki on it all the time. So right now I'm a cozy girly, okay? I'm really, really leaning to a cozy girly like life because I want to be at rest and to be peaceful. And that is why I specifically chose cozy hobbies that I can do at home, help me think, help me relax. And so I've been playing this game, Infinity Nikki. It's like, you know, it's one of the most popular games right now. So I'm not saying like I'm the one who found it or whatever. But before that, I was playing a lot of like open world crafting games, farming games like Sandrock, Coral Island, Sims, that one's Lost Coding. Because, you know, if you know, you know. I got the mods. Yeah, that's mostly it. I am also back to reading. I read my first book last night. Okay, first pages. Okay, I used to be a reader at heart. Like, stay up all night reading, literally writing fan fiction. I would get perfect scores at my tests just so I could get a new book. Like, I was that girl. And then I don't know what happened. You grow up, and then I don't know why I was one of those people that stopped reading. I guess because I didn't have any time. Picked up reading again, and one of my goals this year is to read 3 books. That is a very, very low stakes. Like, I have 3 books to read all year, but you guys don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Because I really want to fight against the need for me to be constantly multitasking. When I play my video game, every time there's a cutscene, I'm crocheting. Every time I crochet, I'm watching an anime. Or every time I'm beating something, I'm watching a show or something. I literally cannot just do one thing. And reading makes you do that. Because you can try. You can try to multitask. You're never going to get it done. So that's what I'm forcing myself to do. That's why I'm trying not to do an audiobook, because that makes me want to do stuff. And then I'm not even in the present anymore. I'm not taking in anything. So my whole thing this year is to be able to read more books. What else? My vision board is right there. This is my vision board for this year. I read at least 3 books, be advanced in 1 more hobby, grow my community, save $10,000, get into PA school, go to 2 national parks. I'm so excited for that. Hit a new PR at the gym, grow as a content creator, and pay off all credit card debt. But I really don't want to see this as a way to make money or anything like that. I just want to share. I think I just have a lot of things to yap about and not enough people to yap to. And I don't want to annoy all my friends. So yeah, you guys will just hear me talk instead. Yeah, I think the monetary goals are really fun in a way that hopefully is reasonable. $10,000. It's a little, cost of living is hard, but I will try. It's good to have goals. Getting into PA school, applications start in April, so we'll see what that looks like. I really want to travel the country in a way, even though with everything that's going on. I think I just need to remind myself that this country is more beautiful than it seems, and and yeah, it really forces me to stay domestically, because I'm fighting the travel bug to go internationally, because I have no money to do that. Yeah. Hit new PRs at the gym. I recently lost 15 pounds. Semi on purpose, semi by accident. I only wanted to lose 5 pounds, but then I lost the extra 10 because work was crazy and I couldn't take care of myself properly. Got so busy, wasn't eating. I literally mean last month. Okay, so when I say I am in this process of learning how to take care of myself in a way that's actually more than just financial, I mean it. I'm still learning. So if you guys want to be in this journey with me, we can do it together. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. I don't necessarily have scripts for my YouTube or little content ideas, and so maybe that's what I need to do. But yeah, I will make sure. This became just a yap sesh introduction video, whatever, but I think you guys should get hobbies. Come get hobbies with me. We're gonna turn this channel into so cozy to the point where you're gonna listen to this and want to take a nap, or listen to it and start a new hobby. That's what I want us to do. I want us to be the system and love living outside of making money, love living outside of creating any economic mean, love living so that we can fuel ourselves to keep fighting. And I think that's what I really want to provide to this world, just like other creators have provided for me. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna say salamat, makita ulit tayo. Okay, bye. This is so fun. I see why you guys be yapping like this, because I enjoy when you guys yap. I enjoy watching YouTubers who yap. I just be listening to yappers. I love a yapper. Okay, so I hope you guys share the same amount of love for me. If there's anything else you want me to do to make this more fun and engaging, any topics you want. No, actually not. I will give you the topic you want. I'm gonna tell you right now. But yeah, this is so fun. I'm so glad I'm doing this again. I should put on. I'll put on my makeup next time. Do you guys like my nails? I made this. There was another thing I didn't say. I didn't tell you guys. I got into doing my own nails. Look, it's ugly right now. No, actually, I've come a long way. They used to be really ugly, but these are getting better, huh? I started like a few months ago. Maybe like a month ago, actually. Look at it. It's not. Bruh, let me show you. Rawr. They're cute. That's another thing. I forgot to tell you guys that I like started doing nails. But yeah, anyways, that's all. Okay, bye.